All right, guys. Thanks for coming out. Welcome to our first day panel discussion. Welcome to the 23 Expo. It's awesome to see all you guys. And I'll tell you what, it is a lot happening out there in the artist tent. I don't know if you guys have been out there, but there is it's a new location this year and just a lot happening. Just happy to see all you guys. So today's panel is really going to be based around, it's always about concrete, but it's also based around sort of an online presence. And we really want to open this up just as a general Q&A for just to get the questions rolling in from you guys, whether that's about technical stuff, whether that's camera gear, what video platforms do these guys use, whether it's about growing an audience, whether it's about content creation, whatever it might be. Please just roll them in. And so we did have Tim and Landon from Hacking Concrete. They actually had another obligation this week, so they weren't able to make it. And so Rick Lobdell is going to sit in with us. And I decided that I couldn't round anybody up last minute, and we had an extra volunteer for the microphone. So I'll go ahead and sit in as a fourth member. So a guy that I'm pretty short already, but whenever I stand next to this guy, I feel really short, like 4 foot or something like that, because he's so tall. But the first person is going to be Ryan Tomich. So Ryan, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of how you got started in the online portion of concrete.
So I think a lot of you know me already. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, technically Waukesha, Wisconsin. I say Milwaukee because most people know Milwaukee. I've been a residential concrete contractor for going on 24 years this season when we start. And I started social media during COVID. Believe it or not, I haven't really been on social media for all that long, but I took it very seriously and I grew a YouTube channel to 300,000 subscribers. I have about 750,000 followers on Facebook. So it's been going really well, and just glad to answer any questions that you might have. Even though I haven't been on it very long, I've learned a lot. I know quite a bit about it, studied it out, and put it into practice. So anything you guys got, go ahead and fire away.
Thanks, Ryan. So next up, Rick Lobdell. Man, I've known this guy for a long time, and we honestly, only in the last 2 or 3 years that we've really been talking to each other very much about the online part, but he's got a lot of different angles to cover. So go ahead, Rick.
Hi, I'm Rick Lobdell. I own Concrete Mystique Engraving in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, I do. I'm all over the place on social media. So it's kind of cool to be up here, especially with these two guys that are, all over YouTube and everything like that. And there's just so much you can do with social media. So I'm glad to be here.
Thanks, Rick. And then all the way on the end, I'm going to be honest, when I first started getting involved with the Deco-Crete TV, which is our YouTube channel at Deco-Crete, and I did a lot of research. I've been a big YouTube nerd for a long time, but on the concrete end, honestly, only in about the last 5 years. And so when I knew that it was going to be part of my job to create videos, I started doing research. And the guy that kept popping up every time I typed anything in to YouTube with the word concrete, there was always one name that popped up, and it was Mike Day. And I was fortunate enough to meet him a year or so after that. And we started talking on the phone and emailing and texting each other. And man, I have learned so much from this guy, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys already know him and have learned a lot too. So, Mike, go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of let us know sort of why and when you got into the whole online part of concrete.
Yeah, hi guys. Good morning. A little bit of background on me is I started out in this business doing commercial work. I was about 15 years old. I was working for another guy. I worked for him till I was about 19. Then I went on my own. Decided I didn't really want to do the commercial stuff anymore, so I went into the residential side, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I'm 58 years old now. The online stuff, that started probably back in 2005. I just decided I wanted to build a website, so I learned how to build one on my own. I built my own website, everything about concrete. Today, that gets about 100,000 visitors a month. And then from there, I decided that once I saw YouTube starting up that, I was like, hey, I could throw up a couple videos. And that's where it all started. I just took a camera to work, just videoed myself. I wasn't very good at editing. Just slowly growed from there. And that's how it all happened. Now, got a pretty good sized YouTube channel, do all the social media stuff, the Instagram, the Facebook, TikTok. My daughter does most of that for me. So it's just kept growing and growing. And it's actually turned into another whole business. So I own Days Concrete Floors is my residential business, and everything about concrete is my online business. And that's incorporated now. So 2 businesses, both of them make pretty good money. So any questions you guys got, I'm here to help.
Thanks, Mike. And I guess I should have introduced myself, but my name is Jeff, and I work for Deco-Crete. And I'm sure any of you guys who've seen our channel, you've probably seen my face on there, and that is a big part of my job is to, create videos, more from a how-to end. Where the cool thing about, these guys is it's a lot of more of it is just daily life, just kind of more of a broad spectrum of the pours. And a lot of Rick's videos are a little bit more like ours, where they're a little bit more compact and just kind of to the point. And so I love the diversity that you see on YouTube. And I just want, before we get started, I also want to say that people come up to me a lot and they say, hey, we're thinking about starting a YouTube channel. And man, I just couldn't encourage that more. I just feel like the more concrete channels that we have on YouTube, the better it is for everybody, or whether it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it might be. And so, please, the bigger that community grows, the better it's going to be. So with all that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and so we're just going to start taking questions. Just raise your hand. We got a mic on either side here, and it's just going to be, first one to get to you. And if the other side got to you first, just keep your hand up and we'll hit you next time around. Why don't we just alternate back and forth, Kenny? So go ahead.
So this question is for any one of y'all guys that wants to take a stab at it. If you were going to do a YouTube channel, the number one advice that you could give someone that is just starting out building a YouTube channel as far as content and development? I know that's a broad question, but what is the number one area that you should concentrate on to build followers, people interested in the channel, getting people to the channel?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think we'll just go down the line on this one. So, Mike, why don't you start and we'll just go this way.
Well, I think that as far as a YouTube channel, people go to YouTube for a couple things. One is for information and education, and then the other is just entertainment. So maybe pick one or the other and try to be good at one or the other. Mine are more informational, educational than they are just fun and crazy. I think Ryan's a lot of fun and crazy stuff. I think you can grow one either way. But just all I did was I just took a camera to work, put it up on the stand, videoed, pretty raw. Don't try to make anything perfect. And then if you're going to edit yourself, that's where all the work is, in the editing. If you got kids, maybe they'd be better at it, but as just pick one or the other, and try to grow your audience that way. Because I think we probably have some overlap on audience, Ryan and I together, but I think people go to watch mine to learn stuff more than maybe they go to Ryan. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
100%. Yeah. Definitely.
The biggest thing is editing. You got to learn how to edit or find someone that can do the editing. And you can't be afraid of taking the videos, like he said, with the raw. I laughed last year when we were talking about this, that I've made so many videos that are terrible. And I didn't know they were terrible. And I probably made videos for 4 or 5 years before I ever even put one on YouTube. And then all of a sudden I put a bunch of them on at one time because I didn't know what I was doing. And I just kept filming. I just filmed everything. I don't care. Just film it anyway, because you can always edit it later. You never know what you're going to do with it. And it never hurts to film it. Don't worry about the subscribers or the followers or anything like that. Just film and get it out there, and don't be ashamed of it. It doesn't matter, because you're going to look back a couple years later and you're going to laugh at how bad you were in the beginning compared to where you're at now and things like that. And it is what it is. I want to go back and erase all of them and start all over again. But,
I'm going to contradict you guys just a little bit, so excuse me, but things are a little bit different now on YouTube as they used to be. Like when Mike started YouTube, that's all people expected is like raw video, not very good. The editing was just, like anybody could do it. Now, my number one piece of advice, if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't put out any bad videos. It goes against everybody else's advice that I've ever heard. Everybody will say, just get videos out there, just start posting, it'll work. Your very first video should be a good video, and if it's not, don't post it. Just work on your editing, show your video to somebody else, and if they say, wow, that's terrible, don't put it out. If you make a terrible video, you can watch it, you're not going to think it's great and fool yourself. If it's a junk video, don't put it out. Don't put videos out until you're ready to start putting videos out. Learn how to edit. Obviously, that is very important, and it's difficult to know what kind of style to edit in. You need to figure that all out. But and that's what I did from the very first video. You can go back, and it's a pretty decent video. It's a good, entertaining video. And I personally believe that's part of the reason why my channel really caught fire and things took off. Second piece of advice, if you're starting off, what Mike said is very important. You need to decide what you want to do. Do you want to showcase your business and be more serious and do serious work, show the process and the steps, what it takes to do a job? Or do you want people to watch your videos because they just got done working, they want to eat their dinner? A lot of you probably watch my videos because you just want to chill and laugh, and you got to decide what kind of video you want to do. If you're a younger business, I would recommend that you probably go like Mike's route, showing people what to do. If you're established, because you don't want to look like a goof out there on the internet. Like I kind of look like a goof sometimes in my video, and I'm fine with that because I've been in business a long time. I don't need more work. I'm not showcasing my business because I need people to find me and hire me. I got plenty of work. That's not what YouTube was all about for me. So a couple tips there I think are very important if you're going to start out a YouTube channel. My top 2 for sure.
That's some good advice there, guys. We got 2 people that know a lot about that, so good question. The only thing I have to say, because I think they pretty much told you everything else, but kind of what Rick said is if you're even thinking about starting a YouTube channel, buy a GoPro or some kind of camera and film everything. It's one of my biggest regrets over the last 10 years is not capturing enough footage because storage is cheap nowadays. I mean, my gosh, you can fit as much footage on a little drive this big now as you could on something like this big, 10, 15 years ago. So film everything. You never know when you might want it or when it might come in handy.
When you started out on the social media, how much did it increase your sales or your amount of work? Basically from advertisement perspective.
For me, the first year, nothing. Maybe a job or 2 the first year. You can't expect. YouTube goes out. Your videos go out all across the world. You're wanting to market locally, so like Facebook ads, you can target an audience. YouTube is not really for that. Once you build a large following, like me and Mike had breakfast this morning. We were talking about it. Once you build a large enough following, like people know you, then it starts to help. Oh, it's Ryan from Victory. Oh, it's Mike Day. It's the concrete guy. Then people know you, they trust you. So then it helps tremendously. But like in the beginning, it goes out all over the place. You're not going to get a lot of views. Nobody's going to know you. YouTube's not going to help you starting out. So I would go like the Facebook ads route and use more like targeted local advertising instead of trying to use YouTube. Yes.
Yeah, I think that it's really important to understand different platforms and how to best utilize those platforms. Because I agree with exactly what Ryan said. I've talked to a lot of people that have YouTube channels, and they say it's more about once you're established and people know you on YouTube, and then you show up to their house and they're like, "Oh, we seen this guy on YouTube," or maybe you go to their house, or before you even go to the estimate, send them a link to one of your videos, and so by the time you get there, it's almost like they already know you. They're not calling you because they've seen a YouTube video. But it just makes the sell a lot easier. Now, he mentioned Facebook and targeted ads on Facebook. I mean, man, that is just such of a powerful tool is Facebook and how you can utilize that. Now, I don't know anything about Instagram or TikTok, so I'm going to pass that down the line. I don't know if either of you guys have anything to do with either of those. Or
Well, the other thing I would say, too, is YouTube can actually help you with your sales. Like when I would go to a sales call, I'd talk to the client about a certain design I'm going to do for him, or look at it, trying to explain it to him, and I'll go, well, here's my YouTube video about it, so you can go here and you can watch this. And I got other videos too if you want to see other designs. So I use it as part of the sale. It's not really before the sale or to help me with getting the sale as much as at that day on that sale. And how many other competition are actually doing that kind of stuff. And so it's a lot easier because especially with the crazy designs I do, it's really hard to explain that to you. So it's like, well, just watch this for 2 minutes. That's why I make short videos and keep it straight to the point and go, this is what I do. Here you go. Go look at other videos and things. So that's how I use YouTube. And with Facebook and everything else, I mean, I love Facebook because you can show process before, during, after, the whole entire thing. And they can see the play-by-play and see how it all works. And that helps me tremendously. That's what I love Facebook more than any of the other ones because of that reason. I like showing the process of how I do things.
Yeah, real quick, I'll just add on to that. I know, I've never really had to advertise, so that's not part of what YouTube is for us or social media. But building on what you said, probably, I was talking to Ryan this morning, 3/4 of the calls that we get now from people that don't know us have watched the video, and that's why they call us. and we've already built trust with them because they've seen the work that we do in the video. So it's already sold the job. We don't really have to sell the job. They already say, we want you to do it. We've seen your video. When can you schedule us? And that's basically what we hear from everybody. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, real quick, how many times do you guys show up and you get a comment or get the feeling that people are just so comfortable with you guys pouring their concrete because they've already seen it on YouTube, but also do you get guys asking you like, man, this is so cool, are you going to make a video at our house too, or are we going to be on YouTube, or does that ever happen?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, they want to be in the video too, so we try to include them in that if we can, if they're there and not at work. Yeah.
Well, and actually that's another good point when it comes to the referrals, because then they ask that and you go, well, when I do put it on YouTube, I'll send you a link, and then they show it off to all their friends. And so, back to, how you look at advertising, it's free advertising by doing all of that. It's just your time doing all the editing. I'm not spending any money on that, yet they're going out and showing all their friends and making a big deal about it and stuff like that too. So that's a pretty awesome part about it too, when they ask.
Yeah, generally my experience has been people have been excited to be part of the video. I've actually only had one lady that didn't want to be on the video, and it's because of the way she wasn't ready for the day or whatever. But people think it'll be a big problem. They don't want people to be videoed, or they don't want to be on a video, but actually people are pretty excited about it. And then they love it when it's done. They don't realize sometimes like how popular it is. So then maybe a week later they'll call me or text me like, I didn't know so many people were going to see it, and all their relatives and friends are calling, and it's been nothing but positive for me. I haven't had any trouble. People are like, I'm going to sue you. I didn't want to. You always you let them know before you start. Obviously, that's very important. But I've had no issues at all.
Like a social media release, or
it's not needed on a job site.
Okay.
Because the places you can't film are where there's an expectation of privacy. So if you go into somebody's house, if you're in a public restroom, you expect privacy there. So if you're filming in those places, you could get in trouble for that. Anywhere outside, in here, anywhere where you could be on film. You almost expect to be nowadays with all the security. You're pretty much free. You have a lot of freedom to run cameras pretty much everywhere. I think most people know that already. It's been kind of circulating on social media, but it's not an issue unless you take it into somebody's private space.
The biggest thing with that too is I don't use their name. That's another key. I find ways to make titles that have nothing to do with them, because I have private clients. I have, rich clients and things like that. They don't want their name out there or anything like that. So I don't ever use that. They might walk into the video if they want to or whatever, but I do a lot of it when they're, inside and I'm doing stuff outside and things. So I kind of keep them out of it. But then again, I send them what I did to their place and things like that.
So do you ask the client if you can run video before you,
Yes.
if you're in somebody's backyard?
Yes.
Okay. So you bring it in.
Nobody
front
ever
door.
says no, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never.
Okay. And the 2-minute videos, somebody had mentioned, short, quick, to the point. Yeah, one of y'all guys. Is that kind of across the board, or what's y'all's feelings on that? The length of the videos.
You have the best way to say that with YouTube. The length is important to you.
Yeah, so Facebook is generally much shorter videos, 2 to 5, 6 minutes. YouTube videos. YouTube's a business, so the longer I can get you all to watch my video, the more ads they run, the more money I make. So if you really just have to monitor how long you're keeping people's attention, and you'll get all the information you need from YouTube when people are stopping watching your videos. So you make the videos as long as people like to watch them. Then you cut them off. People will watch my videos for a long time, so I make long videos. If they're only watching for 3 minutes out of your 30-minute video and they're shutting it off, your video is garbage. It's letting you know that it's boring. People don't want to watch it. So you just monitor and see, how long people are interested for. You got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and really, I kind of look at it as I do short YouTube videos because I'm putting them on Facebook. To his point, I'm just putting them on YouTube so that they're there. But my goal really is Facebook with all of that stuff. And I'm linking the two together by doing it that way. But my focus is always putting it on Facebook and having that short video.
I think this is something that, I misunderstood for a long time, because I was sort of in that same mindset that you can't make more than a 5-minute YouTube video. Nobody's going to watch it. Honestly, Mike Day is the one who sort of, gave us some advice that if you can keep people for longer, make longer videos, because a big thing that YouTube tracks is watch time. And so if all your videos are 15 to 20 minutes long and you're holding the audience for that long, now you're getting 15, 20 minutes of watch time per video as opposed to, 4 or 5 minutes. And so you just have to make sure that people are continuing to watch, though, because it's a bad thing if you have a 20-minute video and they're only watching 3 minutes. But Mike explained that to me a few years ago, and I will say that made a lot of sense once he explained that.
So as a general rule on YouTube, if you can keep your audience watching for 50% of the video, that's considered excellent. 50 to 60%, that's fantastic. So if you start and see they're watching 50% and you're disappointed, you shouldn't be, because it's actually great.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that real quick. The shorts, the YouTube shorts and the TikTok and Instagram, all a minute or less really is all you really need.
Yeah, and the great thing is you can, we obviously utilize this a lot, is, we'll make a full video on something, and then, a few months later, just chop it down and make a short out of it. And, it's kind of like recycling content, but at the same time, you can really make a video that's either just a really short version, that's a sneak peek to get them to the full video, or honestly, you could make a video that doesn't even seem like the same thing, all out of that same footage. It's already edited. All you got to do is flip it, vertical, and it's just a quick way to reuse footage.
Hi there. I was wondering what thoughts y'all have about using any sort of content that's not necessarily geared towards your marketing campaign, like more educational stuff, or even like comedy style videos to gain to gain interest in your YouTube channel, to kind of drive your audience towards the more marketing heavy videos that you do.
So that's really what my channel is mostly about. I take the entertainment route. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, you're going to have competition. I'm there, he's there, and there's a whole bunch of other guys that are there too. If you want to be successful on YouTube, don't try to be just like Mike. Don't watch Mike's videos and I'm going to be just like Mike, or I'm going to be just like Ryan, or I'm going to be just like this guy. The reason I was successful because I chose an avenue that nobody was taking. I took the entertainment route and the more vlog type route, and it caught fire because nobody was in that lane. I didn't want to take Mike's lane. Mike does a great job. Like, we don't need another Mike. He's already like filling that lane. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. You really you got to differentiate yourself from the rest of us, or you're not going to be successful. You're going to fade away into the crowd of other YouTube channels that nobody really watches. You have to be different. You have to be unique. You have to give people a reason to watch you instead of them saying, he's just copying Mike. That's lame. A lot of guys have tried to copy me, but in their comment section, he's just trying to be Ryan, dude, and it's not popular. People don't appreciate that. They want to see something new and fresh. So if you can find an angle, that's the secret, in my opinion.
Well, I think one more thing too, like to Ryan's point, is it's about him. It's his character. He's found a way to do his style. You don't want to do Ryan's style. You want to do what's about you. So if you're more about training or you're more about being silly, it's you. Show off your kind of character, whatever that means, and the type of personality you have. I don't really show personality in my videos. I just show structure and control and insane designs and things like that. I leave that all out of it just to show you what I do, instead of having that kind of angle. It's not even really educational to an extent. Some of it is. It's more just showing the shock value of the designs I do and things like that. So it's really, that's me. That's the type of character I am, and that's the type of thing I like to put out there. So you got to find what it's you and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's your style. Is that a good way to say it?
That was a great way of putting it. Yes. Yeah. Be yourself. Don't try to be. If you're not a funny guy, don't try to be funny, because all of us will see right through you that you're being a fake. You have to be genuine. You just got to be who you are. And if you're not exciting, if you're not entertaining, you got to find a different lane. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. It's a huge mistake on social media. You will get ripped to shreds. Trust me.
I think when it comes to, a marketing standpoint, let that happen naturally, I guess. Do what these guys do, and then the marketing will take care of itself. And so I think YouTube videos that are really geared towards marketing, us as a manufacturer channel, we have very few videos that are just about one certain thing, that are just blatant marketing videos. It's more about, for us, it's more about education than anything. But then all the way, by the way, while we're doing this, we're using these products and the marketing to take care of itself. Because, if you're looking at just a marketing campaign video and it's blatant like a commercial, I don't see a lot of people in our business having much success with that.
I go out there and do my work, and it just kind of takes care of itself. Like Ryan said, just be yourself. And I'm probably not the comedian type of person, more or less. So that's why I took the avenue I did, and it's worked for me. And like I said, I've never had to advertise as far as work goes. Are you thinking of advertising what you do for work or products?
We don't really have a YouTube like face at the moment. I'm looking at making one for my family business.
Yeah, then I would just video what you do and put it out there and just be yourself. Yeah, that's all you really need to do. Don't overthink it. Yep, just be yourself.
Does the number of views on your channels affect the way that you process your jobs?
If anything, I feel less pressure to get top dollar because I am getting that other business money. I'm getting that YouTube money coming in. So I don't have to get top dollar. I can just be average price along with the rest of the crowd. I get plenty of work. So no, I don't take that into account whatsoever.
Yeah.
I have not raised my prices because I am who I am or people know me, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be another one of those things that would probably get looked at kind of like a blatant marketing video where it's like, now that Ryan's famous, he's going to charge $3 a square foot more. That would probably seem like it would backfire.
I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but I'm a fan of YouTube. So I do watch it, okay? So if you have a channel, do you pretty much stay true to your content? In other words, if you have a channel and you're talking about, say, decorative concrete, do you stay true to that area, that field? You stay in that lane, or do you stray out of that lane into other areas? How would that affect your audience? Would it be a deal killer for someone? And if you had that channel up and you went into another lane somewhere off the wall that you don't normally go, what y'all's feelings about that?
Definitely stay in your lane. Once you build a big enough audience, like I have some freedom to do other stuff. People are interested in my family and what I'm doing, or if I go fishing, but I still limit that a lot. You try to really stay doing what your audience is used to. They'll follow you to do some stuff, but if you want to do some other stuff, start a second channel. That's what I did. Just start a separate channel if you want to show you're hunting or fishing or something off topic. Especially when you're starting out, just stay on your topic 100%. Never veer from your topic.
So we all know everybody's always poured concrete, So how do you guys deal with all the negative comments? Do you guys try to make sure you reply to all the negative comments? Kind of explain your route, why you took that way, what you guys did, what you didn't do.
I think well, these guys can all weigh in on that, but here's the thing: is
everybody loves me. So.
I can promise you.
That's what I was going to say.
I have one guarantee of this.
Comments otherwise.
If you have a concrete channel and you post videos, you will get some negative comments because we're all the best at everything, and everybody has their own way of doing it. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, at first, when I first started doing this, I kind of took it a little personal. I'd say they did bother me, but I've grown a little bit thicker skin, and I mean, I do read them just to see if there's any validation to what they're saying. Most time there isn't. I just think if someone's going to post something bad about you, it's something to do more with them and not you. So I pretty much just ignore it. I'll just scroll by it, and if I'm going to answer somebody on YouTube a question they have in the comments, then I'll just answer the people that are positive, that are actually there looking for information. I don't know, Ryan probably doesn't get a ton of negative stuff. I don't get a ton of it either.
I get a ton.
Probably out of 100 comments, I might get one that's negative. So I'm not saying it never bothers you, though. I mean, we're all human. It's a human aspect to it. But I've learned to ignore it more and more the longer I've been doing it. Yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore.
I think the more interesting parts of those moments are everybody else's reactions. Every time someone says something negative, you get 20 other people saying, "Are you crazy?" And that's what I get a kick out of, is all the people that step up and back you up and go, "You can't talk that way to this guy. He's, look at what he's doing. You can't do that. Why would you say that?" And so I get a kick out of everybody else's reactions more than worrying about what they're saying about it.
I'll be transparent. I do get a lot of negative comments just because of the style of my videos. I mean, overwhelmingly positive, of course, but I still get a good share of negative comments, messages, emails. If you're going to jump into the internet and make yourself a public figure, there are a lot of crazy people on the internet, and you don't really understand that until you're on the internet and you build a large following. Death threats, I've had police involved, one arrest, People making threats against my family, and it's not because I'm not offensive on my channel.
No.
I'm very kind. I'm generous. It has nothing to do with who you are or even what you're doing. It's that there are crazy people that they're just crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, why do you want to kill me? There's no reason. So to answer your question, like, honestly, it does get to you, man. Like, I don't care who you are. You do get thicker skin. I've developed thicker skin myself. But there's still stuff, like, when there's threats, like, and they're specific, I don't like it. You know what I mean? It still bothers me. And I've done some things to kind of protect myself and my family and my home and all that. But it does bother you. Like, if you're a sensitive person, it can definitely lead to mental health issues. Like, no doubt about it. I'm pretty strong mentally, but it's been hard for me at times. Like, I've felt like throwing in the towel and giving up several times. I'm not going to. It's not ever a serious thought, but it can mess with you. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, a lot of you in the concrete industry, you better do nice work. You better do really good work. And I'm serious about that, because you're like what you said, like, concrete guys are very proud. If you go to like concrete finishers, all the Facebook groups, any pictures you see, the first thing everybody does is they zoom in and try to find something wrong. Everybody's going to critique your work. And if you do anything wrong, you're going to get torn up. You're going to get chewed up, spit out, and your career on YouTube's over. So if you do anything less than very nice work, like, don't even consider posting anything on social media. And I'm sure you guys all do nice work, but if you don't do perfect work, just about, you know what I'm saying, like, people have something to say about everything.
Yeah. And even if you do perfect work, they're going to.
That's true.
You'll always find something.
They'll always find something. So just expect that. You're going to get criticism, but you can't let the criticism get to you in the beginning. You just got to push through it, because you know you do nice work, and everybody knows you do nice work that is local.
I think one of the biggest things too is it's really important to resist the urge of fighting back and making a snarky comment back. And, that can just look really bad. I feel like probably the best thing, in our opinion, is if it's really that bad. I mean, we try to take more of a humorous approach. It's funny. One of the early videos that I was in was talking about a concrete slump. And I think I said the word like literally, I would think I was like 10 times a second or something crazy like that. It's like every other word was So that did a couple things. First of all, it made me learn that I need to work on that and try to realize I was doing that and not do it as much. But we took more of a humorous approach to it, and we get all these comments coming in, and we just joke back with them, and they make fun of me, and we'll just kind of make fun of ourselves right back, and that just sort of seems to it just makes it easier. And the other thing is to keep in mind is, I just use that example also because we get a lot of comments on that video that says, man, great video. We learned a ton. Thanks for making it. But you said a whole lot of times, and then it's like a funny face or something. And so it's like I take some, it makes us feel good to know that we messed that up that bad, but the information was still good enough that people enjoy it. And, my big thing is somebody says a negative comment, I try to find a way that we can just find some humor in it and answer back in a funny way, but really try to resist like starting a fight with your audience, because they are your audience. I know that you get on Facebook groups, man, it can like tire me out sometimes reading through some of them. It's like they're just there to fight. And so, yeah.
Okay, so obviously, like, editing is a big part of stuff. So any tips on editing and thumbnails for YouTube?
I'm going to say, go ahead, Mike, you can start this one off.
I mean, I was just self-taught. There's a couple of guys on YouTube that I follow. I don't have them right off the top of my head, but I could get them for you. And they pretty much taught me. But I know for my thumbnails, where it's a little bit more of an educational channel, I like to show, like, what the video is about, kind of like if we're doing stamp concrete, showing some picture of maybe one of my guys setting a stamp down on the concrete, how to stamp a concrete patio or whatever. Show them that we're doing a patio, the guy setting the stamp down, make a thumbnail out of that. And as far as the editing, I mean, that was self-taught too. I use a software called Camtasia. It's pretty easy editing software, so you just all the videos you take from your GoPro or whatever you use, and you upload them to that. Some of them might be an hour long. You pull it down into the timeline, and then you just cut the pieces out of it that you want. Could be a 30-second piece, could be a 5-minute piece. And you just break it down into a little bit smaller video. Most of mine are maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I know Ryan's are a little longer, 30 to 40 minutes. But once you learn how to do it, it's pretty easy. It might take you a day to learn how to use that software, but it's not too bad. Does that answer your question a little bit? Yeah.
Before I started making videos, like the thought of editing video was a pretty scary thing to me. Like, oh man, it's pretty tech heavy and I'm not really a computer guy. But honestly, editing it's not that difficult, man. You get better at it, and it takes a little bit of time, but anybody can edit. Wouldn't you agree? It's really not that
Absolutely. I mean, it could be as easy as you want, or it could be as complex as you want. You know, our channel is a little bit different because we have a whole team of people who are filming it. I don't edit any of our videos. Now, I do, you know, play around with that stuff on the side just because I just think it's fun to edit videos. But I just say just get to the point where it's sufficient and learn from there. And whether it's Adobe or whether it's DaVinci or I use a free one at home called Shotcut, and it's a free open source software. You can download it. And, you know, it's a great way to learn before you step up to like Adobe or something you actually have to pay for. And, you know, again, our videos are pretty highly produced, but that's just, you don't have to be, you know. I mean, everybody's got a little different angle on that. I think it's just about making a really watchable video. And, you know, like Ryan said, if you watch your video, you know if it's any good or not, or show it to some friends. And like, if I can't stand to watch it, then my guess is that most other people aren't going to stand to watch it either. And so, but start easy and then get complex if you want.
If you're used to the Apple platform, iMovie is the simplest editing software that Apple has, and then from there you can move up to their professional Final Cut Pro, which is what I use. But you can make great videos with iMovie, and it's super simple. If you're used to the Apple platform, you can jump on there and start editing within half an hour and start to learn what you're doing. It's not rocket science.
Now, the other part of the question was thumbnails. So anything you guys do, anything strategic or anything on thumbnails, or is it just kind of random, whatever YouTube generates?
Thumbnails and titles are super important. That's what people see. If it catches their attention, they need to click on your video. So just keep that in mind. When you're looking at other people's thumbnails and you click on one, ask yourself, why did I click on that? What about that made me interested? So just something catchy, interesting, asking a question or leaving something out there, like what happened, you know, or this went really bad. What went really bad? So people click on it. Well, what went really bad? I want to know what really. So you want people to be curious about something. So that's what I try to do. I want people to want to find out what happened.
It's almost like some controversy or creating a little bit of mystery or something like that. Just seems to be a lot more of a clickable thing. Is like you said, asking a question, or I know Mike, sometimes I see some of yours where it's like, you know, I read the title and the thumbnail and it's like, man, things must not have went very good that day. And it just, for some reason, people want to click on those videos.
How many of you guys out there have a YouTube channel? Anybody yet?
Got a couple of them out there. I see Ben Bass standing up here. I know he's got a YouTube channel, and you know, honestly, I love that Ben's description of, you know, kind of why he started his channel for a couple different reasons. And the first one, I mean, Ben, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give the mic to Ben for a second? Ben, do you mind kind of explaining what the point of your YouTube channel is?
First of all, we haven't posted on YouTube in a while. It's difficult. My wife is kind of wanting to lean more towards social media. And with YouTube, the videos need to be, I don't know what, like where you turn the camera like this as opposed to like this. And you can't really, like, it doesn't seem right if you upload one standing upright on a YouTube. So we've been focusing more on social media. But yeah, our whole outlook was just kind of our journey. I mean, we got into decorative concrete, and I just wanted to kind of show the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And so, yeah, that was just, we do want to get back more into YouTube, but, you know, it's a great platform. So, yeah, if anybody has any questions about that, you can let me know. But, yeah, that's just been, we just wanted to show our journey and just getting into it. And it was a cool start. But like I said, we've kind of been more on social media lately. So. And something Ben said to me a few years ago was that it's also good for hiring new employees, because if you have a potential employee and you send them a link to your YouTube channel and they see what you actually do for a living, because if somebody hasn't been in decorative concrete and they apply for a job, they don't know what they're in for. So it's like they can see how hard a work this really is. And then if they still want a job, it's like, okay, now we can talk.
So at y'all guys' level where you're at today, and I'm not talking about from the beginning, but and plus maybe a loaded question, how much time do you spend doing the YouTube chat, taking video and then editing, if you could say an hourly time per week, or what is it? Is it more better to be more consistent in your videos, or maybe one a week or one a month, or how does that all play out at the end of the day?
I'll start on that one. So, yes, it's better to be consistent if you want to grow a channel. I would plan on doing at least one a week. I do 2 a week. So I just show up to the job like I do every day, bring the tripod, bring the camera, set it up. Sometimes I'll wear the hat like Ryan does. So I'll have 2 cameras going. And then when I'm done, a lot of times I'll leave right after the pour. Sometimes I'll stay and finish with Darren and Luke. Bring that back home. And depending on how much storage is on that card, I'll just put that on the computer, put it back in the camera, bring it to work the next day. So there's a little bit of time involved with just moving the video around. And when I go to edit a video, I usually do it. I can do it on the weekend. I can do 2 videos that might have 2 or 3 hours worth of footage. I can probably do a video now in 20 or 30 minutes. So a couple videos might take me, let's just say, a couple hours a week to do. And I'm already there on the job working, so I'm setting up the tripod and the camera. That doesn't really take any time. Moving it around a little bit. So I would say for me, 2 videos a week. Now I've got it down to about 2 hours of work. But when I started, it wasn't. It might have been 1 video a week. Might have took me 3 or 4 hours to edit that video. But it was mostly just because I was learning how to edit. Not that the editing took that long, but I didn't know how to use the software. So it doesn't really take that long. And now, it's grown into its own business now. It's a 6-figure business a year. So for a couple hours a week, maybe let's say 10 hours a month, and really not much overhead, just a few cameras is all it really takes. Are you any different than that?
I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
I don't have to take a lot of time to make videos.
I spend vast amounts of time on video editing.
Yeah.
My videos are much more involved. I usually 3 to 4 cameras going. Once you add a camera, your time goes way higher. But yeah, I spend about, on an average concrete pour, it takes me about 6 hours to edit the video. I spend between 30 and 40 hours a week editing on top of my concrete business.
So you're doing that like in the evening, right?
Yeah, at night. Yeah. I run social media like a business.
You really don't want to just start off slow. That's the easiest way to say is just start off slow, because it really depends on what your goal is. Is your goal to have a couple 100,000 subscribers, or is your goal to show your clients what you do? Yeah. And it's just decide which direction you're taking it, especially at first or whatever. Don't stress over that, because to his point, it's a ton of work, but he's doing it on purpose. I do a couple of videos. I probably do about 4 or 5 videos within a week, and then I post them over a month. So I really stretch it all out. I don't post all the time like these guys, because it's not my goal. My goal is not to get 1,000 or 100,000 subscribers right now. It's just to get that stuff out there and let people see it. And every time I go places, I always hear someone say they watched my video. I don't even know, I'm not really even thinking about it. So I just love posting videos. I don't think as far as these guys do at all. So it depends on your goal.
And for me, that's about 4 videos a week. Yeah. The 30 to 40 hours, and they're long videos. They're from generally 35 minutes to 55 minutes long. They're long videos for a week in the summertime, and several camera angles. So it takes a long time.
I was gonna say, it does take me a while to edit too. There's, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish, it's a lot of detail. So it just depends on what you're trying to create.
Hey, what editing software are you guys using?
I use Camtasia. It's on a PC. It's called Camtasia. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to learn. Yeah.
I use Adobe Premiere. It's not easy to use.
Final Cut Pro. Again, if you're just starting out, just jump on iMovie. It's a little bit of a dumbed down version of Final Cut Pro, but it's perfectly capable of producing great videos.
Is that free, or do you have to pay for a subscription?
iMovie's free. Final Cut Pro is like $300, lifetime subscription.
Yeah, and I know our team that edits our videos, they use Adobe also, and that's like, I don't know, what is that? It's like $60 a month or something like that, depending on how many users you have. So it all depends, and you can learn on free software and then move into something else. You know, you don't have to start out. In fact, like he's saying, Adobe is not easy to use, but if you started on something easier, you can kind of move into it a little faster.
Well, not only that, but you also get everything about graphic design, everything about sound. It's not one program. You pay enough to get Premiere, you get the whole thing. So it really also helps you when you do have a graphic designer that you're working with, and you can look at that stuff with them and look at the vectors. And so there's way more to it than just Premiere is the thing about Adobe. You get the whole suite when you get Premiere.
Yeah, and you can use Photoshop to make your thumbnails, and there is a lot of advantage to that. Now, I'll be honest. You put me in the Adobe suite, I wouldn't even know the first thing to click on. I have no clue. I had a question for you guys. So what is your number one, I guess, analytic or measuring stick that you guys look at as far as like, this is my channel's doing really good on this, or I need to focus more on this? Or is there anything you guys, when it comes to like watch time, views, clicks, whatever it might be, what's kind of your number one go-to thing that you guys focus on?
Watch time is king. The longer, like I explained before, the longer you can keep people watching, the more that the algorithm sees that that's a good video, and it'll put the video out more. If you're making long videos and people are only watching for a few minutes, your video's garbage. You need to start over and rethink what you're doing. You got to keep people's attention. If you can keep people interested in your videos are going to take off. But the bottom line, watch time is king. Views will come with watch time because they'll push it out with their algorithm to a new audience.
Yeah, longer form video, watch time. Consistency too. If you're looking to grow a channel, then you got to be consistent. I would say 1 a week minimum to even start to grow. Yeah. You can't do 1 a month. No. But 1 a week, 2, then move up to 2 a week. Then, like, I don't know about 4 a week. That would be a lot of work. But yeah. But at least 1 or 2 a week would be good.
And that's why we always say too, just film for now. You don't have to put anything out there right now. Just film. And when you have a ton of film together and you start learning how to edit, all of a sudden you can start planning out a bunch of videos to come out in a reasonable amount of time while you start working on the next ones. So don't just make one video and go, okay, I've got it started and I'm good. You go ahead and get a jump start. Get 10, 15 videos ahead of time. Learn how to edit. Get it all organized. Make it look similar, like he was saying. There needs to be a consistency to the way your videos come across for you, and just go with it from there. But don't just start out and make one video and think that you got it and that's all you need to do. And then a month later, you remember to video again. You got to do a lot more than that.
So I probably should have mentioned this. I did kind of mention it. I said YouTube gives you all the information that you need. So when you start a channel, you get an analytics page, and they analyze your videos. So when I say you got to keep paying attention to your watch time, that analytics page will give you all the information you need. The age of your audience, where your audience is, what country it's going, when people are most interested in the video. They'll give you the specific second of the video that people are watching the most or replaying. So they give you all the information that you need to determine how your videos are doing. So when I say you got to pay attention to watch time, it's all right there in your analytics. They track all of that for you. It's very organized, neat. It's easy to keep track of, and it's fun too. I'm glued to my analytics every day.
It's cool to look at too. Yeah. It's not something that I do a lot of, but maybe once a week or something like that, I go into Ike's office and we kind of look at the analytics of the page and what's been doing good and what's been working. And it's not only really, really helpful, and you can be very strategic about it, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. You can kind of nerd out on it for a while.
It's watching the success of your business in real time, minute by minute. It's really cool.
So that kind of leads me into the next thing, because honestly, I've changed my opinion on this over the years too, and that is ads on your videos, because we resisted that for a long time. We didn't want our audience to have to watch ads. And then, honestly, Mike Day was another one that gave us a good piece of advice. He's like, you guys need to turn your ads on. And so, first of all, it's like, well, everybody has their ads on their videos, and everybody who hits a certain level, and I'll let you guys tell me because I'm not even sure the exact level, but once you hit a certain amount of subscribers, you can turn on ads, and Google now sends you a check for putting ads on those videos. So, Mike, why is it important to have ads on your videos?
Well, I think if you're looking at it as a business, then it's important. Yeah. And I think it probably does play a small part with the algorithm with Google, even though they might not tell you. but that's probably pretty important. But it's got to be a certain length for them to put an ad on, number one. You know, it's got to be 8 minutes, I think, right now, in order for them to put one ad on. But it's just the way that Google looks at things, and they keep changing things all the time. So the longer your video, the more ads they're going to put on. I think now everything we look at on social media has ads, so I think everybody's used to it now. Before, it might have turned people off from your video a little bit, but now every time I'm flicking through Instagram, I mean, an ad's popping up. I just click buy it if you want. So I don't think it bothers anybody anymore now to see an ad.
No, not at all. Not at all. It doesn't bother anybody. And YouTube offers YouTube Premium, so you pay a monthly fee. I personally don't like ads, so I pay for YouTube Premium. You don't have to watch any ads. It's like $10 a month or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, the ads need to be on. If I'm not going to put in that type of time and effort that it takes to put out the videos that I do and not get paid a dime, because it's costing me a lot of money to make the videos. So of course, the goal is to make some money with the video, so you can at least get paid for the time that you're putting in. And again, people have the option. If they don't like watching videos, I don't get any complaints. Nobody complains about ads and videos, like once in a great while. But I always just reply, well, just buy YouTube Premium, because I don't like ads either, and that's what I do. I don't like my videos being interrupted, so I just buy the service.
Yeah, or uBlock is what I use, which is a free software that, you know, blocks 95% of the ads, and it's just something you can put on as an extension on Chrome. But no, we were worried about that. Like, is it going to be a backlash? We hadn't had ads for a long time, and the way that I looked at it, and I think it was a comment that one of you guys told me, was like, whatever money YouTube is paying you for that ad, they're making way more than you are on it. So of course they're going to want to push videos with ads, and that makes a lot of sense. And I will say that since we turned our ads on, our channel has grown. Is that the reason why? I don't know, but it does, you know, the timeline coincides. So, but it's always something that I was just really worried about it. And I agree with Mike that at this point, everybody has ads, and there's some kind of software to block them, or YouTube Premium.
So YouTube keeps 45% of the ad revenue, and they pay you 55%. So the companies that are advertising, you know, interrupting your video, that's how Google's making money off of you. That's how you're making money. So you view them as a business partner. They want you to do good. They're going to push your videos if it's good.
So you do make more than YouTube does, then?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I was wrong about that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
55%.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm surprised about that.
One thing to point out, that if you guys notice, we keep saying the same thing over and over, is Google. You know, it's Google. Like, I hate to say it, but I can't stand Google. I hate this part of it. But you have to go on to Google. You have to make your account, because they own YouTube. I don't know if everybody has realizes that, but Google owns YouTube. So you got to think about, for you to be found on Google when someone's searching for it, or decorative concrete, or searching for concrete and finding you, you have to play the game across the board with Google. You got to make your account with them. You got to make sure that you follow that account. You got to make sure you keep up with it, because there are people out there that are obsessed with Google, and that's how they find you. You know, and so I get these questions all the time about a job, or, you know, how much do I charge per square foot for a job, and all these kind of things. And they demand that you answer within 24 hours or you get kind of flagged. So you add what Google does in the first place with your account, plus what you do on YouTube, plus how they search for you. You got to follow all of these, get these things in the game with Google to make sure that you're always at the top of the list when it comes to searching. Does that make sense? Am I saying that correctly?
I think so. I don't know that much about that end of it, but
That's the stuff that I learned from Danny and everything, you know, from my marketing director and stuff. That's how insane Google is. You know, like, I joke about it all the time, because I don't go to Google. I go to Bing, because I'm on a PC. And you can't find half of what you can find on Google if you search on a different search engine. So you have to realize how big the game is with Google, and how powerful they are, and how important they are. And you got to do it with everything. It's not just one thing.
Let me just answer your question going back a little bit. So the threshold, you asked what the threshold was to become monetized from YouTube. It's 1,000 watch hours. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. And you have to hit both. So once you gather 1,000 subscribers, you also cumulatively have to have gathered 4,000 watch hours, people watching your videos, then you're eligible for monetization on YouTube. So you're not just monetized right away because you started a YouTube, you're going to start to make money. It's going to take some time and effort to get to that.
And the other thing you have to be careful about too when it comes to monetization is, copyright stuff. So if you use a certain song that has a copyright on it, they're going to flag that, and then they're going to get the revenue and not you. So I'm guessing you guys don't use any copyrighted material or anything like that.
I use a paid service. So, you basically pay a service, internet site. They have all the songs. You're buying a license to use the song on the internet. If you use just any old song, YouTube, has the AI will pick up on the song. It'll identify it, and they'll flag that you're illegally using licensed music. And if you get 3 strikes, they'll take your YouTube channel down. So you got to be careful. Start off, you can use, YouTube has a free music library. You're free to use all those songs with no danger of that. Or you can buy a service.
Yeah, and sometimes they won't even do anything about it. They're not going to take the video down, or you might not even get a strike. It's just that you're not going to get any of the ad revs. They're going to go to whoever owns that song.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like talking about like Adobe Premiere has a ton of free stuff on it that you can use, and then you don't get flagged for any of that.
So specifically to Ryan, I know you're always in Quick Trip, obviously in the morning, and obviously your supplier. So do those guys, do they have any interest in trying to tap into? Because I know, like, obviously Eric's channel, when the algorithm picked him up, obviously it picked up a ton of his followers, including myself. So, like, I mean, obviously the guy Schmidt, you spend a ton of money there. Is there any interest there, or are they like? I mean, like, because obviously
talking about, do they want to like sponsor me?
Yeah, like,
is that what you're talking about?
Is that even a thing, or?
Yeah, so you'll get, once you build a big enough channel, I'm sure Mike gets the same thing. I don't know how yours works, but you'll get offers for people that want to show, they want you to make a video about their product. I've been very resistant. I could have made mountains of money doing this, but to me, my audience is the most important thing, and I'm not going to alienate the audience, and I'm not going to sell out, getting money from corporations. I'm not going to turn my channel into a sales channel. So I've been very resistant. I get multiple offers every week to do it.
Yeah.
Most of the offers have nothing to do with concrete, so I would never do that. And I'm still open-minded. I'm not saying I'm never going to do that, but it has to be just the perfect fit.
Right.
If it's a perfect fit, I'll do it. If it's not, it's not.
So I guess I was more asking, like, a lot of times you have issues with the concrete. You had a lot of issues earlier this season with your concrete with Schmitz and stuff like that. Sometimes you go on a Quick Trip and, like, stuff's not even, like, don't these guys know that you have a channel and you're in there every day? And why don't they? I mean, it's just interesting to me, like, or try to, like, make better, like Schmitz, for example, when you had issues with the concrete.
It's real life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a YouTuber in the sense that that's all I do is make videos. I'm a concrete contractor first.
Right.
It's just real life. Nothing's set up, nothing's staged.
Right.
It just is what it is. You guys all have concrete suppliers. It's the real deal. It's going to be late. They're always going to tell you when you call when they're late, it's going to be there in 5 minutes. It's the way that it is. So they're just running a business. I'm just showing what's really going on. So nothing staged. Nobody cleans anything up to make themselves look better. It's just my regular day. It's a vlog. It's the real deal.
When you get to a certain level, that becomes a real thing, and you have to just know how, prepare for it and know which way to go. I love what Ryan just said, that it's like he's not going to sell out to anything, or, to me, that I don't like seeing that when somebody's just blatantly selling out for a certain brand or a certain tool or something like that. So it means a lot that you guys stay true. And Mike, you got anything to add to that? Or?
Yeah, I'm same as Ryan. I get probably 10 a day. People that just want to send me stuff, put on the video, pay me, whatever. I've worked with a couple of companies. MBW has sent me some stuff, put them in the videos. We use them, we talk about them. Marshalltown send me stuff. Companies like that will put in the video. They don't pay me to do it, but they'll send me the stuff, and then we'll put it on, and then I'll just be honest about it if I like it or not. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I've tried I haven't really liked from anybody yet. All the company's products are really good. I do have a company that sponsors me that sells concrete sealers and crack repair and stuff like that. That's more for my website. Like I'll write blog pages about it. I'll put affiliate links on it. They click on the link, they'll go there. They'll send me commissions and stuff like that. But yeah, there's an opportunity out there to really just make a lot of money from sponsorships if that's what you want. But I'm like Ryan. I'm not going to just put anything on there.
Now, I think that our industry is a little bit different than your average, YouTube influencer that's, somebody's giving them sneakers or something like that. And, everybody in this industry is just very down to earth and they can see right through BS in a second. And so to me, that would be like the worst thing that somebody you could ever do is just to blatantly sell out to something like that.
So I just want to know, like, what kind of advice do you have for some of us that maybe want to make like marketing videos for sales and stuff like that, not really trying to build like a channel like what y'all have, just to like show your work and maybe get more sales, more business?
I would probably hire someone to do those kind of videos because you need to know a lot about graphic design. It's a lot more than just doing a video and putting a couple of things in. It's much more graphic design oriented when it comes to making a sales pitch as a video, from my point of view. It's not that you can't do it, but it's a lot different than what these guys are doing.
No, and I think to allude to Ryan's point is if you're doing really good work already and you're just making the video, you're being yourself, it just lets that client in on a little bit of your personality. And so when they watch that video, it's not like you're throwing them a sales pitch out there. They're just seeing what you do and who you are, and then it's selling itself essentially. Now, I mean, as a manufacturer, I mean, we obviously make some of our videos are definitely geared towards sales and marketing for sure. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just trying to get our name out there. Obviously, we're not doing contracting work, so it's a little bit different. But, I never feel bad about that as long as it's done with some other sort of value to it. So it's like, yeah, we're trying to push a product, but there was a ton of educational info in the same video. So that's like they're getting something for what we're getting back. Or, maybe there's some humor involved or entertainment value. And so, it can definitely lead to sales. But my advice would be if you're looking to market, to sell jobs, I would look more towards Facebook and Instagram for that kind of stuff as opposed to YouTube. And in that case, maybe it's a short video. Maybe like Rick said, it's some kind of graphic design where you're, just posting a picture of your job. And I will say that from what I've seen from the job that I have, I see that as the number one most effective sales tool for contractors selling jobs is Facebook. And it's free, or even just putting just a little bit of money towards it is so powerful. And it's scary how specific you can get with your demographics. I mean, you can nail it down to age, gender, income range, geographic area. And that to me is just the most powerful thing I know of, as opposed to a YouTube video that's just a kind of different angle. Again, knowing the platforms and knowing how to use different ones.
Well, that's why I was saying it that way too, because it's more about putting it on your website or like Facebook. It's not a YouTube. That's not a YouTube thing. It's completely different. And to Jeff's point too, he has a marketing crew. He has people that are making those videos for that reason. That's not a YouTube video. It's a whole different world. And that's why I said it that way too. But to me, when someone asks that, I'm thinking about my website. Yeah, I'm thinking about Facebook. There is definitely reasons to make those. There's no, it's a good question. I definitely would like making those kind of videos and having those made, but that's a lot different style than what we're talking about.
I said this last year, like, man, the discussion last year, if somebody watches that whole video, and by the way, this, I don't know when, maybe within the next few months, this whole thing will be up on Deco-Crete's YouTube channel, so you guys can watch this. But that was a pretty jam-packed hour, and we're about an hour and 15 minutes worth of information there. And so I can't tell you enough how much inspiration I've drawn out of Ryan's videos. And when I first started, how long did it take you to get like your first 5,000 subscribers?
I don't remember. Maybe a month.
Maybe, which is insane because, our channel, I mean, we've got, we're coming up on 13,000 subscribers on our channel, which, isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. But we feel really good about that because our channel isn't just there to get subscribers. It's there as more of an educational value. We make a video on something, it hits a lot of different platforms and it serves a lot of different purposes. It's not just to gain subscribers. But when I first discovered Ryan's channel, I think that maybe where you were at is somewhere in that 3,000 to 5,000 range. And I was like, oh, here's a new concrete channel. And then the next time I looked at it, it was at like 20,000. And then it was at like what seemed like a week. It was at like 30 or 40 or 50,000. And so it's just I've drawn a lot of inspiration from that. And same as Rick. I've known Rick as a friend for a long time. So we've just had many good conversations over the years. And
Didn't I teach you to stop saying
You did. And Mike was also, when I first started, getting into it, I'm a little different than these guys too. These guys started channels from scratch. I sort of came into a channel that had already existed for quite a few years, and there was already a bunch of videos on there. And this is a job for me, the YouTube part. These guys are doing it as part of their daily lives. So, we do look at it from a different perspective. But again, I just can't say enough about Mike Day and what I've learned from him, and a lot of phone calls. And Mike's bought products from us, and he, calls me to place orders still. And that's pretty cool to me. It's always, I'll run downstairs and be like, hey guys, we need to get this out the door fast. Mike Day just put an order in and we can't screw this one up. So I do really appreciate you guys coming out. And just to go down the line here, just, a closing statement or anything you guys want to hit, anything that you guys think is like, man, the people that came to this discussion or watching it on YouTube, what do I want to make sure that they leave with? So go ahead, Ryan.
Looks like the show has grown. Last year, the show, if you weren't here, it was at
the shop. Yep.
It was at the shop.
Yep.
And great show last year. Looks like it's grown. So I appreciate being here. Like I said, I don't really have anything to say. Social media, you just got to, like, pretty much the first question that we answered, what do you want to do with it? Like, what's your goal? You got to answer that question first. And then once you decide what your goal is, then you can start taking the steps in the right direction. It's not rocket science. I was very intimidated by social media up until just a few years ago, and then once I hopped on, it's been big for me. It's really changed things for me. So definitely encourage at least dipping your toes in, giving it a try. You never know what's going to happen. I would say, again, to repeat myself, don't put any garbage out there. Every video's got to be good from their very first video. That's what I did, and it worked for me. All I can use is my experience and what has been successful for me. And that's kind of the path that I took.
Thanks, Ryan. Go ahead, Rick.
There's just so much you can do. We've talked mostly about YouTube, but there's the social media across the board. The one thing I have to remind everybody is, we film like this on YouTube, but we film like this on everything else. I hate filming like this. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. It drives me crazy. But if you want to be on TikTok and you want to be on Instagram and you want to be on Facebook, it's all this direction. And so you got to learn to film both directions. That's the biggest thing to me.
Good point. And pictures, same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, just real quick. If you're thinking of starting, I just say get a camera and go. Whether you use your phone or a GoPro or whatever, just set it up. Set it up on your next job. You bring it home, look at it on the computer. The biggest thing for me was just the fear of getting over starting, really. What I was going to look like on camera, what I was going to sound like, how I was going to be perceived by others. That was the biggest fear. But once I did that first one, nothing mattered after that. Just expect your first one to be bad. It will be. But they all get better after that. But just getting over that fear, just start, press play.